Shooting it raw?
Yes. Shooting it raw. Hey, wait a second. Okay, wait a second. Now, I have a feeling you did not make this photograph.
I did not take this photograph.
But I do remember how the conversation started about you saying the vision was to be an astronaut.
Yep.
Am I speaking to an astronaut right now?
No. No,
Okay.
You're speaking to a guy who did his best to become one and didn't make it.
But that's right. That's perfect. Okay, so the photograph is it must be a composite image, or not composite. It must be it's not a true photo.
Yeah, it is.
It is a true photo.
Yeah.
Okay. It's called Mars Mariner Valley, and it is a photo of Mars, I'm assuming.
Yep.
And taken from, what would you say, like 100 miles from the surface in altitude, or more than that?
Probably more than that, to be able to get the full disk of the planet in there. Okay.
Walk us through this, because I have so many. My forehead is really kind of crinkled. Okay, what's happening here, man?
Okay,
I love it.
So Mars, in terms of climate and size and gravity and everything, is the next most inhabitable planet in our solar system. Mm-hmm. And this particular, if you look at that, what looks like a scar on the face of the planet, that is Mariner Valley. Now, just to give you a sense of scale, from the left edge to the right edge of that valley is about the same distance as from the east coast to the west coast of the United States, or the continent of Australia.
Right.
So this is a big valley
feature
we're talking about.
Yeah, it's
here.
Humongous feature. Yeah.
Yeah, it's about 4,000 kilometers long, and it's about 7 kilometers deep. And it has the benefit of running east and west, Mars east and west. So the rotation of Mars gives that valley a normal amount of sunlight. And the depth of the valley means that the pressure at the floor of the valley is higher. The atmospheric pressure is higher. Yeah. And I think it's going to be one of the most likely colonization spots for humans when we get to Mars.
What? Okay, for me, it's 6:30 in the morning. What are you doing to my head? I love this. I had no idea this is going to be. You brought me to Mars. I love it. Okay, keep going. All right.
Yeah. So Mariner Valley, and then I love Mariner Valley so much, and its potential for humans so much, that I wove it into a big chunk of the story in my book. And a lot of the action takes place in Mariner Valley. So yeah, I just took a couple of things that I liked and slammed them all together and thought this was the perfect picture.
It is absolutely the perfect picture. It's unreal, right? It's too real. It blows your mind. I know where to look at in the sky at night and say, okay, that's Mars. Mm-hmm. And it's astounding to think that people have been able to use our thumbs and our ability to abstract to send things up there.
Yeah. And
to me, in terms of my own development, it's as astounding that we're having this conversation and my head's exploding from thing. And then you say, and then there's my book. Okay, so you wrote a book. What's the title? Let's put that in people's brains. What's the title of your book? Sell it.
Title of the book is Spark.
Spark. Yeah, nice. So talk about your book, man. Sell it. Okay, so how long? When did you finish? When did it publish?
It came out May 29th of last year.
Okay, so pretty recent. Okay. Yeah. Was it your first book, or have you written other books?
My first book.
Oh, well done.
No, thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah. So talk about your book, man.
Okay. So the whole genesis of this book began. Now I have kids. You have kids. You have kids, right? Or is it the
One
furry
daughter,
kids?
and 11. One daughter, 11 pets. So
Oh,
12.
very good. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I'm at two daughters and four pets right now. Um,
Hmm.
so at one point, both of my daughters were very much into a game called Pokemon Go,
Okay.
and I don't
Yep.
know if you're familiar with it or not.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and for those that aren't, what Pokemon Go does in terms of the way it manifests is it takes the Pokemon and it projects this virtual construct onto a real background. So
Hmm.
you can see Squirtle or, you know, one of the Pokemon there, and it looks like it's hanging out in the school playground.
Hmm.
And even though you can tell that it's obviously a cartoon and virtual, I loved the idea of projecting the virtual upon the real. And so that started me thinking about virtual reality. And one of the problems with virtual reality is that it takes you out of reality. You are completely
Hmm.
cut off from what is really around you. And so if you play a virtual reality game, you're in danger of knocking your TV off the stand,
Right.
stepping on the cat, all sorts of things because you've been separated from reality.
Right.
And that got me to do a little research into a thing called augmented reality, which is really what Pokemon Go is that it blends reality and the virtual. And I started thinking, what if, what if you could have a theme park, a Disneyland, if you will,
Hmm.
where you could blend these two things? And so the title of the book, Spark, is an acronym for Solar Prime Augmented Reality Park. And
Okay.
it's a place for gamers of all ages, and it pulls solar power into it because when I lived, when I was test pilot out in California, we would fly past a thing called Solar One almost every
Hmm.
day,
Hmm.
and it's this consolidated solar thermal power plant. It has this
Must be
big
huge.
circular array of mirrors, and it reflects the sunlight up onto a tall tower, and it
Yep.
heats up molten salt, and then it uses that heat to generate steam to power a turbine, and voila, we have electricity. But it's so inefficient.
Okay.
And so there's another way to generate solar electricity or solar power, and that's through photovoltaic panels. It's like what you see on
Yep.
the space station or satellites or on the roof of somebody's house down the street.
Yeah.
And they are much better in terms of both efficiency and also they're more environmentally friendly.
Hmm.
One of the problems with these mirror arrays is have you ever walked in the reflected sunlight of a high-rise building?
Yep. Yeah.
And
That fries everything. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and you get pretty warm pretty quickly. And so now you
Hmm.
think about all these mirrors focusing on one small region of space. And unfortunately, there's no warning sign for the
Uh
birds.
huh.
And
Oh,
so,
right.
so birds, they can see the bright thing over there, so they're not going to fly into that. But,
Yeah.
there's nothing in the bird's brain that says, yeah, not only don't fly near it, into it, don't fly anywhere near it
Sure.
because you're going to
You
go
can get
through this.
toasted.
Yeah, you're going to get toasted. And the birds ignite almost like that,
Oh,
and they
dude.
fall to earth, yeah, with their feathers smoking, and it's yeah. So anyway, that's kind of a long dissertation on solar power, but that's why I'm a bigger advocate of photovoltaic solar power than I am
Hmm.
these
Hmm.
consolidated thermal systems.
Yeah. Okay. So Spark, your book is a novel, or it's
Yeah, it's a science fiction novel.
okay. But why is Mars is Mars the kind of the territory? So you didn't explain the augmented reality, but how does in the park and how does that relate to Mars?
Okay, all right. So this park, gamers like to do quests, and
Yeah.
and one of the quests that I created for this book was called War on Mars. And so it
Mm-hmm.
takes place on a virtual Mars in a virtual Mariner Valley. And so that's how the two marry up there.
Okay, got it. People can get Spark from where? How do people who are inspired by you learn more about you? Find your book, all that stuff.
Well, the book's available on Amazon. I mean, everything's on Amazon these days. So
sure.
You get hard copies.
This podcast is on Amazon.
This podcast, yeah. So perfect.
Everything's on Amazon.
It is. It's really surprising. It is the most surprising mega company that the world has ever seen.
No, it is. It is quite astounding. Okay, so the book is okay. So is there an age demographic? Is there like so when you go to give a talk about your book, how do you present it?
I come at it from a couple of ways. One, I wanted to write a book that I thought would be family friendly.
Okay.
I wanted kids to be able to read it. I wanted parents to be able to buy it for their kids and not worry about anything that's happening in it. So I targeted it so it would be classified as a young adult book, which means that I keep most of the profanity out, most of the there is romance, but there's no explicit sex in the book.
Sure.
Yep. And then the violence is dealt with at a little bit of an arm's length distance. And then kind of the quick way to talk about it, I say it's got a Ready Player One vibe. If for those that have read Ernest Cline's Ready Player One, kind of meets Ender's Game, which is an Orson Scott Card book. And then one of my readers said, yeah, it's those two, but also plus Peter Pan. So there's a little bit of the Lost Boys and
right.
Kids separated from adults and maybe even throw a Lord of the Flies aspect in there just to round it out.
Wow, Pat. Wow, amazing. I mean, what a tour you've taken me on. I love it. This is great. This is really great. I guess at this point, I just to say thank you. So look, already it's been an hour, right? It goes by very quickly. And thank you for the stories, man. That's amazing. You have another fan with a total guy crush. Wow, woo, for sure. Awesome.
Thank you. And thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. I've really enjoyed talking with you.
Great. Thanks. So next time you're in Hong Kong or next time I'm anyways, maybe our paths will cross. You're a good man. Thank you.
Yeah, sounds good. I'd love to get together with you and maybe bend the elbow, have a beer.
So is life really a gift? Really? Can you make every second count? That's the whole point of the podcast. So if you like what you've seen and you're inspired, because that really is my mission, then please give it a like, subscribe, and share.
Shooting it raw?
Yes. Shooting it raw.